Welcome to Drum and Drummer, a podcast focused on drums, drumming and drummers. I'm George Pickering and that's Ben Winty, and we are both professional drummers in this business we call music. So stick around and join us as we pass the time whilst trying to stay in time.
Why are you calling it a table football table? Why not just a football table?
I don't know. Welcome to Drum and Drummer, Thursday morning. How you doing?
Right, so first of all, people will be listening if they've listened to last week's and go, did he get a parking ticket? You know?
Okay, yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah. Well, let's what happened? Pray do tell.
No,
he didn't.
Not. So that was nice. 2.5 hours parked on that street with new parking ticket, with new thing to not get a parking ticket. Permit. No permit, baby. And went out and it was fine. Shall I segue? Shall I do a segue now?
You could segue if you want, boy. You can segue if you
I'll
want.
segue.
Yeah.
I know you've got a lot, so I'll just...
Yeah, I've got loads, mate.
I'll just rattle through my thing, and then I'm done. Then I can just head off, leave you to wrap up the episode. So I, speaking of cars, my car was a bit temperamental last week, and still is. So I was driving, and it first happened when I was in London, and I was going, God, that
in London?
And I was like, that train's a bit loud.
Friends reference.
And what reference is that?
Friends.
I thought you said French.
No.
Didn't sound very French to me. And I was going, Core, that train's a bit loud. Like, that sort of noise, you know. And I went, oh no, it's my brakes. Yeah.
Oh dear.
So anyway.
Brakes are important.
But do you know what I always think of when, you know, my brakes are a bit dodgy, which has only happened once, is that bit in The Simpsons where it's like, sorry I'm so late, someone cut my brakes. And it's like, well, then you should have been early. So, you know, are they important? Because you get everywhere quicker if you ain't got brakes.
True.
But so anyway, I was driving it and my drum student, Erin, heard the brakes and she was like, that's mental, you know. I don't think you should drive to your gig. So she very kindly drove me to Guildford for my gig that I had on Friday after a drum lesson. And then Ben Y drove me back to Emsworth. And then on Saturday, I had to be driven to my gig in Chichester again by Ben Y. So it was lovely. I was just getting chauffeured about, you know. But yeah, now I need to sort out my car because it's you press down the brakes. Ooh, that's a screeching noise, you know what I mean? They work, but it's probably just brake pads worn out or something. Someone said maybe you got a stone lodged in there, you know?
Can happen.
I was like, that could be a thing. Anyway, so that's my car story, but it was a stressful situation, but it was very, very well solved very quickly because you get by with a little help from your friends. So,
lovely.
You know.
From scrounging off your mates.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
cashing them in.
Oh, give us a lift.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that, you know, yeah, we've all been there, car trouble. We've all been there.
Yeah.
And you kind of take it for advantage, but you go, yeah, I got a gig, got to drive, innit? Drive. You just drive to the gig. Because a lot of gigs are in the middle of nowhere. So public transport's tricky. Very tricky to get to a gig. And is it one of those things that if you want to be a musician, you gotta learn how to drive?
Yeah, well, yeah. I was talking to Erin actually about how when I was, I think I'd learned how to drive, but I didn't have a car. And I was saying to my mum, like, look, can I get on your insurance or something? I've got a few gigs, you know. And she almost didn't get it. She's like, well, why do you need a car? I'm like, and I remember there was this one gig I had in Brighton and we didn't have a PA. So I had to go to Brighton Electric, get the PA, get a taxi to then get the PA to the venue. And then the next morning do the same thing, like go to the venue where we'd left the PA, get a taxi, take it back. Like it was so much effort, you know, and all of the one problem was I didn't have a car, you know. It was just like, instead it was just lots of big taxis, you know, and that was for a gig in where I live, you know. And I was like, look, I've got a gig in London. I don't think I can taxi my drum kit up, you know. But yeah, I've got a friend who can't drive, but he's such a good drummer, he kind of gets away with it. But yeah, it definitely limits you. You know, definitely limits you.
And especially as a drummer, you got to have a car big enough to fit a kit in.
Yeah.
I mean, you ain't taking no kit in a
Fiat 500.
smart car, Fiat 500.
Yeah.
I've driven a Fiat 500, and my head was nearly touching the back windscreen when I was driving. And it was, again, Simpsons reference, because you can get anything from life reference to The Simpsons. There's the really tall guy driving the little small car.
Yeah.
You find something amusing about my appearance? This is the largest car I could afford. Yeah. Okay, well, is the car in the garage?
It will be tomorrow morning.
Sure.
So, yeah. But thankfully, I don't need to drive until Thursday, so that's all fine.
That is all fine.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Shall we
that's
move
my
on?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want to do now?
Okay. Well, let's move on to. You sent me a link to an article. Do you want to explain what it is?
Well, yeah. So there's been these rumours before of that we're a couple, and I think it's important to so there's been these rumours before about Bernard Purdie. He is for people listening that don't know of him, he's one of, if not the most recorded drummer of all time, and he's a very confident man. So first of all, there's a halftime groove which he has named after himself. He didn't invent it, but he's named it after himself, the Purdie Shuffle, and just because he can, and it's almost like he's on such a pedestal that no one's going to go, hang on, you didn't. And it's like, yeah, I did. What are you going to do? Change the name back to just a halftime shuffle? Pfft, absolutely not. But I remember hearing stories about him. Apparently, when he'd do recording sessions, he wouldn't even have the charts. He'd have a music stand, but it would just have the words on it, "You've hired Bernard Purdie, get ready for a hit," or something. So like a drum teacher told us that, and we were like, this guy's fucking, where the line goes from confidence into arrogance, it's blurred. Obviously amazing drummer, but it's resurfaced claims. He said these claims in 2004 that he played on Beatles songs, and we've said this does happen, because nowadays you've got Pro Tools, and you can beat detector, and you can kind of move things around the grid. But before, if you couldn't play well, it was noticeable. And I remember meeting a bass player who said, "Yeah, I've played some songs in the 90s that are big songs, but I can't tell anyone. I've had to sign a thing." So it does happen where people get re-recorded over. But yeah, he claims to have played on 21 of the Beatles songs, and which seems unbelievable.
Well, I think the important second half to his statement is not only that he played on 21 Beatles songs, but that Ringo played on none.
Yeah.
That's the main thing, because I think the article surmises the writer's view is, he probably played on some early Beatles stuff that got re-recorded when they released album 1 or 2 on Capitol Records, and that he might have replaced some Pete Best stuff.
Yeah.
And he doesn't actually know which songs they are, and he's got a bit confused. And but to claim that Ringo played on none of the Beatles songs, is a bold statement.
It is a bold statement.
It's a bold statement, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, especially if you think about that film that came out, where they were recording, was it Abbey Road? I can't remember. But and he's in all the writing sessions, and then to just go, all right, now it's Bernard's turn, after I've been in this band for 8 years. I don't know, but I do somewhat believe it, because John Lennon was on heroin, and that was hidden as well. Did you know that? He was a heroin user.
Well, the thing I do in life, George, is I assume everyone's on heroin.
Probably the best way.
Until they prove they're not.
I had a mate at school who ruined every song for me by telling me that it was written about heroin. And I was like, why do you keep saying, like, there she goes? He was like, oh, this is about heroin. I was like, is it? He's like, yeah, running through my veins, heroin. I was like, it doesn't have to be, you know. He's like, nah, he was on smack. It's like,
Just-
stop ruining all songs.
And I'd
So,
like
yeah.
to think this was in year 3.
No, yeah, well, yeah, so would I.
Bar
No,
Black
this
Sheep,
is-
heroin, mate.
Yeah,
Heroin. Yeah,
definitely.
that sheet was high.
What other nursery rhymes could be about heroin?
3 Blind Mice.
Three
Heroin,
Blind Mice. Yeah. Well, are they blind because they've sold their eyes for smack, you know?
I think that was the
Um,
moral of most, most childhood assembly
Yeah.
songs and things. But yeah, again, just safe to assume heroin until proven otherwise.
Start with that and then go backwards. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Go back to the old Clay. I mean, you touched on it there. I think, I've heard rumours that a friend of a friend went in and re-recorded all the bass for Busted, back in the day, and it happens. And I'm not gonna lie, I've played on stuff in the studio that the rest of the band don't know. It's me.
Yeah.
So it certainly happens. But I think the claim to go he didn't play on any, I mean, make it a bit more believable. But but also could be true.
It could be true because Ringo Starr is, an icon. There will never be a more famous or well-known drummer ever. But
I think you're doing yourself a disservice there, George.
but he
He was also named after a parking app. So
but he I don't know if you watch his stuff now, and I think for years he's always had like a sidekick drummer, you know what I mean, to kind of help him play those tunes live. Even when Paul McCartney brought him on stage before Christmas, he didn't just let him do the drumming. It was like Abe was drumming, and then Ringo was there as sort of I'll join in if you want me to. I can't do it. Fuck. I really wanted that to be a good impression. So I don't know, because people always joke that he wasn't, even the best drummer in the Beatles. And I love his stuff. But what if now I've been lied to and all the stuff I've loved isn't actually him, But it is unbelievable that he hasn't played on any. Because I think after a while he'd be like, come on, lads. I want to play on a few, please, But, I don't know. But I believe that a few could be re-recorded. But all of them? I don't know.
it's up there with who was it? Freddie Starr, who used to shove hamsters up his arse. It's that sort of rumour where you go no, and then you go, well, it could be true.
Yeah.
I think Richard Gere used to pop a gerbil up there or something as well. Again, these are all could be true. I'm not discounting it.
Yeah.
I don't believe it, but I'm not discounting it.
I think I don't want to believe it. I think that's the thing.
Right. Yeah.
And that's
fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Because then
Should we move on?
What did he do? Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Was he just a pretty
Think what
face?
you will. Facts don't matter anymore.
No, exactly.
It's just
It's all
opinion.
AI anyway.
And who says it loudest?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've got loads here on my list. Where shall we start? Let's pop back to a little bit of trombone world.
Oh yeah, guys.
A little bit trombone world.
Trombone nowadays, aren't you?
Yeah. The people are asking. I mean, they're
Are
not,
they?
but... So we had a chat the other week. We were asked about our favourite trombone solos.
Yeah.
Well, a new track's come out where I have, in fact, played a trombone solo.
Yeah.
2 songs have come out, actually. Another song by The Restless Coast. I mentioned them a few weeks ago. Their new single is out. I played trombone and trumpet on that. No solo on that, and that's fine. Just some lovely horns. But then a band called Dives, who I record and produce at the studio, I did a trombone solo on one of their songs called You Look Stupid.
Nice.
And did a little trombone solo on that. So, if you want to pop that into the zeitgeist of best trombone solos in popular music, feel free. Not my words.
No.
I'm just saying,
Well,
Go
it's
for
certainly
it,
in my
go for
top 2,
Thank you very much. Yeah.
because I only know
you've
2.
heard it, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So a little bit of trombone there for you. What do you want next? Do you want?
How many things you got? Should we do a numbering system?
I got I'm gonna
You've
get rid of
already
that
done
one because that's just me being bitter.
We get rid
I
of
was angry when I wrote it down. 1, 2, 3.
Why am I not a rock star? All in caps.
Right, I've done. No, I just had to unfollow someone on Instagram.
Oh, I love it. This is funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, all right, well,
Oh, he's going to
just
do
someone I've worked with, someone actually I played drums for on some of their studio stuff.
Yeah.
And they're very talented.
Yeah.
But their social media output got annoying. It was, imagine a very stereotypical young artist's social media where you're like, just give me a fucking song, mate. This is all just horseshit, you know. And I think the trouble is, it's probably what's necessary.
Yeah.
As an artist of that age, so I'm not begrudging the guy for trying, for sure.
Yeah.
I just can't see that keep coming up anymore.
No.
You know.
I know what you mean.
But I think the little thing that irked me was that a lot of his album was I played drums on 5 or so of the tracks. Neil, some of the vocals were recorded at the Blacksmiths. Neil mixed a lot of the album, if not all, and I mastered it. And on the Spotify bio, it says something along the lines of everything you hear was written, recorded, mixed, mastered by me in my bedroom.
Amazing. You're
like, well, that's not true, is it?
Well, that would annoy anyone. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So, Archie, sort it out, mate.
Not to the point of like, oh, credit me.
Yeah.
I'm just like, well, it's just part of the line. It's part of it. It's probably on heroin, so, you know.
Have you spoken to a young person recently? Like a 20-year-old? Because I'll tell you what, it's interesting. A lot of them really believe that they're going to be social media famous, you know?
Right, okay.
And it's almost like, I was talking to...
Well, that's why I think this guy's doing it to like...
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm being too harsh because I'm putting stuff out there as well to showcase what I can do. But I think, it's a tricky line. But I know what you're saying. That it seems like that's the path now.
Yeah, there's these 2 lads I've worked with. One's 20, one's 18, and the 20-year-old said that he actually did make a bit of money off TikTok a few years ago. And he was like, oh, I'm going to get into streaming, you know? And I was like, fair enough, you know? And then the other one, I was talking to him, and he does a college course and in electronics. And he's like really good at it. And he's showing me some of the stuff he's worked on and that. And I was like, what are you going to do like after college? You're going to go to uni? He's like, yeah, I might do. Or, you know, I might just see if I can start doing social media stuff because people seem to make big money out of TikTok. And I've always wanted to be like, look, you're smashing it with the electronics, you know what I mean? Like, stay with that. But I think they all just have this thing where they go, oh, if you make get 1 million views, it's £1,000. If I make 1 million views every day, I'm like, I don't know, it's weird. Yeah, but it seems
only
to be
a few
of them.
people do.
Yeah, I think that's the thing.
Yeah, some of my partner knows was like, oh, they either like review clothes or something on TikTok or Instagram or something like. It's like, you know, or when they go out to eat or something, they do some sort of. It was food or clothes, and like, oh yeah, they. How long does it take to film? Oh, it didn't take that long. How long does it take to edit? Hours. It takes hours to edit.
Yeah.
You should do it. Well, how much do you make a month? 90 quid. Not worth it.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
you know,
not.
so, but I know what you're saying. Anyway, right, I've gone through my list. I've got. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay, now.
7. Yeah. I've been, it's been a couple of weeks since we recorded Peek Behind the Curtain, so lots has happened. As we enter the spring, the weather is getting nice. People are active. People are doing stuff now. What do you want? Some of these are just quick little things.
Well, should we do the quick little things?
Well, pick a number between 1 and 7.
Okay, 4.
4. Oh, good one.
Okay.
So, I had my final Victoriana gig
Oh yeah.
last week. The band has one more. I'm not doing it.
No.
For those who don't know, I've been playing in a band called Victoriana. We play weddings and functions. It's a 5-piece. It's Mumford & Sons style vintage bullshit. Years ago, absolutely popular. It was so popular. All bunting, cake, Mumford & Sons.
Yeah.
All tweed. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's
Yeah.
been to a wedding in the last sort of 10, 15 years that had that as a sort of
Yeah.
thing. But the band, it's a very tricky band because it was, double bass, it was banjo, acoustic guitar, and then we'd switch to electric. So there was a lot of instruments, a lot of gear to take, a lot of sound check. It was complicated. It was, for me, not very fun to play. The early years of the band, there were some toxic members. They're gone, but I've said, I'm like Marcus Rashford. It's time. They were my Man United. It's time to go on loan to Aston Villa with hope for a permanent signing. So I did the last gig. Now, the gig details came through, all pretty standard. Fine. The preceding Sunday evening. So, for also those who don't know, when we do these contracts for our agency, we have to provide a contact number, and this is for contact on the day. So it's basically for emergencies, like if you're going to, where the clients can contact you, but it should be reserved for on the day only, So, but the preceding Sunday, it was 10 to 6 in the evening, right? Sunday evening. And my phone rang, and I didn't actually notice my phone ring, to be fair. The next thing I noticed was a couple of minutes later was a text message from a number I didn't know. And it was the groom for the gig I was doing 5 days later. Hey, it's Thingy. You're playing our wedding on Friday. If you've got something like, can you be great to chat on the phone if you've got a minute or two? When I saw this message, I then noticed that I also had a missed call.
Ooh.
Right.
Now I'm listening.
One thing, my number is for contact on the day only. This is 5-6 days before the wedding. Second, it's Sunday evening.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's like, it's not work for them, but it is work for me. And you're expecting me.
I think universally people don't call someone.
But
about
do you know what I mean? That
Sunday
socially just
evening.
feels like Sunday evening about 6 o'clock. Probably going to be having dinner. Do you know what I mean? That seems still like a bit
10
of
years ago about to watch Top Gear, It's like...
Absolutely. So just like, what send the text. Don't give me a ring. So I sat on it because I was livid.
What
and
the
then, popped it up the Arnoose. And then... So I replied the following day. Good tip. If you get emotional, don't reply. Let it simmer. And the next day, approach it fresh. Take emotion out of it. I said, hey, can you text me your questions? I'll get back to you. And then what came back was, but I could have said like, why are you calling me on a Sunday night? It's mental. No. But basically it was the groom. He wanted to sing Thinking Out Loud with the band. Again, I'm like, oh, fuck's sake, it's not something I like to do, but it's my last gig with the band. I don't really care. But then you've got the whole thing of like, well, we're on in-ears. So he's going to be on the stage, right? And there'll be no monitoring on the stage. Of course, he'll still be able to hear a bit of front of house, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
And then also, my kit's hybrid, so...
Yeah.
That's a weird on-stage sound. And then also there's no guitar amp as well. That's front of house only, because it all comes through the ears. Now, you could try and put them off and say, do you know what? Look, yes, but just to let you know, like, we all use in-ears, so you won't really be... Hey, try and put them off. Then you run the risk of them going, oh, can I bring some in-ears? And then you end up having to set them up with a monitor feed. Or, can you bring a monitor? Or I'll bring a speaker. So do you know what? I spoke to the band and it's like, let him do it. Fine. And you just don't tell him any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it will just create more effort than it's worth. He probably won't even care or know
No.
this. And he was he did do it, but he was awful.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the thing. He was either going to be really good or he was going to be shit and embarrass himself. And it was more of the latter. But for me, regardless of what he asked, don't phone me on Sunday evening.
Yeah. Yeah.
For something it's your
always
wedding, I get it, and you're planning it, and it's not your work, but this is my job. And it's like you're reaching me out of hours, trying to get me out, and it just rubbed me up the wrong way a bit.
I thought it was going to be something urgent. I really was hoping that he'd split up with his partner, you know? And then he's like, I'll just have to tell him now, you know, gonna have to tell him now. So
Well, I think this is the thing. Like, I don't want to go into that phone call cold or blind. And he clearly wanted to ask me on the phone rather than through text message. But it's like, okay, you've called, I've not answered because it's Sunday fucking evening. But then if you're gonna then text me because you want to ask me a question, just text me the question. Like, I'm not going to call you up not knowing what I'm walking into.
No.
So I thought I handled it well. Just, hey, like, sorry, you know, I'm at work. Can you text me what your questions are, and I'll happily answer them. Yeah. And the only thing he wanted was, can I sing Thinking Out Loud?
Yeah.
Thought you might want to talk about maybe like the timings or food allergies or, you know. But no, of course not. So that was number 4.
Okay, let's do number 7.
Number 7. Okay, so we were talking about counting in 3/4.
Oh, yeah.
Counting in 3/4, 12/8, that kind of thing.
Big time.
Now, at this same gig, actually, the first dance we had to play was Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who know it, and those of you who don't, not an easy song.
No.
So the main chorus and verse,
if you do want to
is
call it
in
that.
6/8, 12/8, whatever you want to call it. It's in a 3. It's in a sort of groups of 3. Yet the intro, solos, bridges are in 4/4. But the quaver count is the same. That makes sense. So the pace of a quaver never changes, but it switches between 4/4. So 8/8 and 6/8, whatever you want to. But what was interesting, so I have to count this song in, but the main bit of the song that everyone wants is the main sort of 6/8 chorus. But the song starts in 4, and I think you have to count that in. But yet, all I can get running through my head is the 6/8 chorus.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, I have to be. But that's one of them songs that I think people, they wanted the big chorus. They don't realise the solo's weird and in 4, and there's like a 3/4 bar, there's a 6/8, there's all these extra sort of weird type signatures.
I want to see how I've charted it, because I've played that one before, obviously. And it is weird. It is weird. You wouldn't think it'd be weird, but it is weird.
Yeah, it's one of them that you're like, actually needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
And I didn't run it through on a drum kit, but I actually made sure I listened through of it while reading my chart and tapping on the desk at work several times.
Yeah.
To just get it more ingrained, because if you make a wrong move switching from the 6 to the 4, it can be...
Well, the way I've written it out is I've written at the top 6/8 throughout, but then I've made a note whenever it goes to 4/4. So yeah, intro, 8 bars tacit, 4/4, and then verse, I've just put 8 bars hi-hat beat, so I know that means 6/8. But yeah, the riff, then I put the riff, 3 bars hi-hat beat, brackets 4/4, 1 bar hi-hat beat, brackets 6/8. Because that's how I counted it. And then the next time it says there's a riff, you know, the da 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 dan 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 da da da. I've just written out the notes, because I was like,
yeah,
it's too much going on, you know. So yeah,
it's a surprisingly tricky song, where the majority of it is in 6/8, but you have to actually count it in 4/4. Right, we've had 7. What's next?
5.
Pick a number. 5.
Mambo number 5. Imagine listening to Mambo 1 till 4, and then you're like, all right, that's enough Mambos. And then someone goes, and now Mambo number 5.
Good.
Did
he do a 6?
Don't know. Good question.
Number 5, George Foreman's dead.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good talking point.
Yeah, that's a good talking point. Not only did he do the old boxing, Chateau Can,
Yeah.
all power.
Yeah.
But he also created the George Foreman grill.
Yeah.
And this brought back memories, obviously, when it was in the news. Main headline, which I thought was strong.
Yeah.
I'd expect headline 2 or 3, but fair play. Not my era. But boy, did we love the George Foreman grill. So my friend Andy at uni, who I think I've mentioned him before, he had a best mate called Andy, and we joked he couldn't come up with a different name to himself for his friend when he actually meant himself. But it turns out he did have another friend called Andy. My Andy, he also shut out of a window. We've got tattoos from uni that we all got together, got our nicknames tattooed on ourselves. But anyway, he came back to Halls after Christmas with a George Foreman grill.
Amazing.
Yeah. And one night, me and Andy decided to buy a big pack of like 16 frozen burgers from Safeway. That's dating it, isn't it? Safeway.
It gets worse, yeah.
And we would basically like put a couple on the George Foreman grill, eat them, and then put another couple on while we were eating.
Yeah.
So we sort of just had this conveyor belt of burgers that we were cooking on this George Foreman grill. Now, along with that, I think we got through all of them. Either that day or the next day, I think it might have been the next day, Andy decided to cook a massive spag bowl, which he had for lunch and dinner. It might have been he had it dinner one night, then he had the rest for lunch the next day, and then we'd spent the evening eating George Foreman.
That's a lot
burgers.
of meat.
And then the next day, I was at uni or something. I came back to Halls, and Andy's. Did you hear about Andy? I was like, no. He's had to go to hospital. I was like, why? What's up? It's like he's got mad like stomach pains.
Wow.
Like something's, and then it turned out that he went to the hospital, and he'd basically eaten too much beef. That was the doctor's assessment.
Amazing.
You've just eaten too much beef in a 24 hour, 36 hour period. He just fucked himself over by eating 2 spag bowls and 12 burgers.
That's amazing.
So
Wow.
that was lovely. That just reminded me of that.
You know, meat sweats are no joke. I've only ever really had it once, but I remember being in I can't remember where, but I had a burger as a child, and it was like, oh, you can double up for £1. I went, yeah, I'll do that. And it was a big burger. And I remember finishing it and going, like, I don't know what to do. And I was sweaty and I felt pale. And I was like, you all right? And I was like, no, I'd eaten, too much beef,
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Andy as well, he took a lady out to TGI Fridays and he went big on the meal.
Yeah.
And then proceeded to eat the rest of her meal that she couldn't finish. And then as he lay with lady during the night, he could not complete the task.
Yeah.
Due to being too full of food. And then had to go and be sick.
Oh, wow. Okay, fair.
Yeah. I don't think he saw her again.
No, probably not.
Anyway, right. What's next?
6. Let's get the top end done.
Let's get the top end. Work our way back. Yeah. Loft insulation.
How is this still a thing? Right, go on. What?
I've been dismantling my studio upstairs. I got fucking loft insulation coming out my eyeballs.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. Yeah, of course. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I've had John from Free Cycle. He came, took a load. Lovely fella. Right, so I'm still dismantling, and this pile of loft insulation, it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger, if anything. And then I espy on the Instagrammy, friend of the show, James Gillingham, has just picked up the keys with his friend Tom to a commercial unit to which they are going to build a set of drum rooms and a rehearsal room.
Yeah.
2 and 2.
Yeah. The cogs start turning.
The cog, that big fat cog, started crunching like your brake pad.
Yeah.
Spinning and might be a stone stuck in there, I think. Like Homer with a crayon up his nose. Again, it all comes back to The Simpsons. And I just messaged James and I was like, do you need any insulation? Yeah. Cool. I got fucking loads.
Yeah.
So they popped down to the studio last week in the van. So I met James in person for the first time. I met Tom as well. Showed him around the blacksmiths. And then, they took a big van load of insulation.
Amazing.
And the football table.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
I was like, do you want a football table? Yeah. Feel free. I think they might even get one of my bass cabs as well.
Why are you calling it a football table? Why not just a football table?
I don't know. No, that's good. No, I don't.
Sorry, I didn't want to say.
Well, because I guess you go, do you want to play table football? What do you play table football on? A table football table. Because sometimes you say foosball and people go, what? And you're like, oh, come on.
Yeah, you have to say, okay, yeah.
But no, table football table does sound weird. You're right. Yeah.
That's great. Anyway. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So, good. Recycling the stuff. And they're going to come back and pick up a lot more because the people who've come to collect the loft insulation, like, how much you got? And I'm like, a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And I saw Tom and James bringing so much down and filling their van up. And like, that's all we could fit in. I was like, oh, great. They'd have got rid of loads of this. Went back up. Still a massive pile.
Really?
Yeah. So they're going to come grab some more, which is great.
Well, they went to
that was very
G-Rush
nice
as well,
to,
didn't they? Oh, my God.
Yeah,
they went to G-Rush because GAK's shut. We haven't talked about that.
Right, yes. So, yeah. They said, can we come down on Wednesday? And I said, yeah, come down. About 11, they said, I think we're going to go to Graham Russell afterwards. I was like, yeah, you definitely should. And then, James mentioned that GAK had shut. Yeah. But I went on their website and it said GAK was shut for 7 days.
Oh, I don't know then.
So that could be the start of they're trying to sort something out to stay open.
Maybe.
Could be shut for reservation, could be shut for some building works.
Well, I've heard from an old source is that, everyone was told that morning you were all out of a job. I think on like Monday morning. So.
Right. Oh,
so
yeah. GAK permanently closed. Yeah. There we go.
Well, rest in peace, GAK. Here's my statement to it. It was once brilliant, and then it was shit, and I'm not surprised it's shut. So, there you go.
Tricky, innit?
It was amazing. I don't know if you ever went when it was the Drum Cavern. They had 2 stores, and one was a whole drum shop. And it was brilliant, And then, I don't know the business, but from that trial shift, it just seemed like it was... I don't know. I am slating it, but I'm slating it.
Well, I think Graham's right. If you haven't got the stock, why are you going to go there?
Exactly.
Why are you going to go there if you've got a choice of 2 rides? I mean...
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. And I think it's that circle, isn't it? If you haven't got any stock, no one's going to come. And if no one comes, then you're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
Even just selling sticks, So
yeah.
So yeah.
Good job you didn't get the job there, then, isn't it?
Well, yeah. It was. Yeah. It is a good job.
The thing is, I think I've only been to GAK once years ago, and it's like, well, if they're not good, I can't speak to their quality over the last few years. But like, if what people are saying and it wasn't good, then it's not surprising. But it is fundamentally a shame. Another
it is because now there's no.
It's gone because Nevada went in Portsmouth. You know? And although that turned to shit in the last 5 to 10 years, Nevada used to be an absolutely great place to go into.
Amazing
in North End. And then it just became this big corporate thing, and then taken over by PMT, and then it just sold SpongeBob SquarePants guitars, and it got a bit convoluted and a bit diluted. Lost that hands-on personal charm, and ultimately no one went. They moved out of the city, so it was in an industrial estate. But I think I saw that Graham has expanded upstairs. Like, they got more.
Yeah.
They've converted the drum rooms into like cymbal vaults now, and they've opened up a whole big storage area, which is now all for electric kits. And I think I saw them, James and Tom, post on Instagram a picture of them in Graham Russell, and they were basically like, "Wow, this is mental, isn't it?"
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. And I think actually that's because James was like, that's our nearest drum shop, and I'm like, fucking hell, from Brighton.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know people travel all over to go to Graham Russell, but from Brighton, if that's your nearest drum shop,
yeah,
it's come past Portsmouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know, it's like, well, I live 20 minutes away. That's not bad, is it?
No.
But it was lovely to meet James. Lovely to meet Tom.
Good lads.
I think there's a bit, maybe with timing worked out differently. There's a bit more stuff they could recycle from the blacksmiths, but if they can get some use out of the insulation and the football table,
yeah, that was like
then great. Right, we've got 2 more.
Have we?
2 more on my list.
Did we do 1, 2, and 3?
I can't remember. I've deleted them, so I've lost the order of which they are. I don't think we've done 3.
Okay,
maybe
let's
not
do
2.
3. Okay.
3. Lynx Africa's being stopped, isn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of things closing.
Yeah.
The smell of a Year 6 disco is going.
Yeah.
Were you ever a Lynx Africa man?
Always. But
Boy.
not out of choice, you know. I was just
Christmas.
gifted them. Yeah, Christmas, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Why do you reckon? Because it's like, that's surely a big seller for Christmas, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
Even as a joke.
But I'm finding a common trend that lots of things in my life are now that have been in my life are going. Are going, right? Lynx Africa. Yeah? That was the scent of a 90s youth.
Yeah.
Right? That's going. Sainsbury's are closing all their cafes. I worked at the Sainsbury's cafe.
Are they? Yeah. I did it for a day as well, yeah.
A day. Lazy.
Yeah, lazy. I've done every job in the world. Not like you picked strawberries and then landed a fucking
that guy
dream
did
job.
1 job a day for a year.
That sounds like my life, to be honest.
Yeah. Sainsbury's cafes are going. Oh, Anne is Morrison's cafes are going, and Anne is not happy.
No.
But anyway, Sony, the London studio where I used to work, well, that's gone.
Yeah.
Sony have shut that. PlayStation has shut that down. My old school is apparently going to be closed and demolished.
Mental.
It's all go. It's all going.
Yeah.
It's all going. I'm just left with the husk of the memories.
Yeah. GAK, gone.
GAK, yeah, went there once. Right, we got one more thing. This is drum related.
I swear there was one more, but okay.
Right, the last one on my list. So I saw a video on Instagram. I can't remember his name. There was a guy with a floor tom, and it was quite a while ago. This looked like it was from like a drum show or some sort of talk, right? And he had this floor tom, and he had no dampening on it, broccoli, and he demonstrated how to reduce the ring and those overtones of a floor tom.
Right.
He took one of the floor tom legs out and put it in upside down.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have.
And then he was like, and that kills some of the resonance.
Yeah.
I thought that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now I was listening through my phone, so I couldn't tell a fucking difference between before and after. But something for you all to try, a bit of homework for all the listeners this week. And for you and for me. Get your floor tom, take off the dampening, tune it nice. Give it a bop with a stick. Yeah. And take one of the floor tom legs out, turn it upside down, give it a bop, see if it reduces the resonance.
Yeah.
Thought it was interesting. I've never done it before. I've never heard of that as a thing before.
No.
But I guess it's something to do with the killing the vibrations a bit more, with having less contact with the floor.
Probably. Yeah.
Making that uneven.
What if you do it with all the legs? Does that really kill it, do you reckon? You know?
Well, I think I can't remember. I'm wondering if he even said, if you want more, try 2 legs.
Yeah. You
know,
6 legs, 8 legs, 6 legs, 8 legs. You know, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say about the. Have you seen the game people are playing? You know, the Whitney Houston. Well, the classic.
Oh yeah.
Where you have to try and get the
I think
drum
I saw
in
Will
time.
Daly do it at his drum
has he
camp.
tried it? If you don't know, listeners, it's that bit, and that bit, trying to get that tom hit in the right place, and people do it, and it's very tricky, you know.
Should we do it? Should we try it?
We should try it. But I think it needs... But I was thinking about it. I was like, it'd be quite funny to do a video of yourself doing it, but it'd be like, who cares? Because you could have 1 million takes, you know? And we'd have to set it up.
Yeah.
You know? Me, you, Neil.
Got to do it live.
You know what we could do? Oh, no, I can't say. I'm coming to your way for some reason on August the 1st. Do it then. Get everyone that's around then. Do it then, you know? I think that's it. I think that's all I got.
I think that is. Well, we should be back next week with a guest. One I'm very much looking forward to. Drummer important from my youth.
Yep.
So I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. But we'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Drum and Drummer. You can find us on Instagram at Drum and Drummer Podcast. And you can send us an email to drumanddrummerpod@gmail.com. Remember, just pick up the sticks and twat it.